Then how do we explain stories like when Samuel's about to anoint King David?
Yeah.
Samuel has this legitimate concern in his mind that, oh, what's King Saul's going to think? God's like, just say that you're worshipping me. You're going to like
A half-truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like how do you literally God's prescribing him?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying it's like whether we think it's a lie or not. We can debate that.
Yeah. Mm.
But like, it's not 100%.
It's not the whole truth.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to answer things like so. At work, an employee was let go 6 months plus, and no one really knows why. It was a bit hush hush. And one of the guys I work with does know, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, like, what went down?" And he said, "Oh, like, there's a few things in there that they're private and confidential. I'm not going to talk about it."
Yeah.
Like he's kind of answered the question, but he's also just like shut it down.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit different to Samuel's thing, but it's just like you just shut the conversation down before you have to get to the lying point. So it's just like, where are you going? It's like, I'm gonna go do profit things. Like I'm gonna go and
So do some profit things.
yeah, I'm gonna do some profit things.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna,
Look, the way I would say it, and I perhaps I've neglected to paint it this way, but the way I would view it, I would see the lying for the right reason as the last possible move, right? I think as you try not to get yourself into that position in the first place, be as truthful as possible as you go down that. Try to shut the conversation off as early as possible if you think you're going to have to. And sort of like treat that as
I want to challenge that.
Yeah.
I don't think it works. I think if you've tried your best to honestly engage with the topic and the person, by the time you get to the point where you're like, I might as well lie, they're just going to know you're lying because you've
shown your
like,
hand.
like you've exhausted all the other options. Like you've told them as much as you're willing to tell them. And then all of a sudden you come up with like extra information, or you're just like, oh no, I'm doing this. And like, well, if it was just that, why didn't you tell me? Like, why have we been fighting for the last hour? You know, like, I don't know.
That's a fair thing. And I think it matters. I think the situation here matters because, to be clear, what I'm arguing over is the extreme end cases, right? Okay. Where someone is going to die. Like they're the cases that I'm arguing for. Or like, even in your examples of people who are at the end of life, right? Someone is going to die.
Mental health,
right?
At stake,
mental health. The health is at stake, and how you package the information is going to have a dramatic impact on their outcomes. In these kind of like extreme scenarios, that's the only place that this is talking about. Like I want to stress the fact that I'm not advocating this just when you're having an uncomfortable conversation with your boss or your wife. This is like in those absolute extreme scenarios. And I think everything inside of that, I'm 100% in Team Steve.
Okay, so with okay, I just had a thought. With the whole, someone's going to die if I tell the truth. So what? Like, as in, like, if we...
If it's me, Steve, please don't ever say that.
No, I know. And, like, this is, like, brutally harsh.
Yeah.
But if we believe that, like, there is a God who's defeated death, so what?
Yeah.
Like, we've been called to tell the truth, so what?
Yeah.
In a situation, like... And again, like, I don't have the same experience as you, but I know that, like, when Mum was going through, like, everything that she's been through, like, you don't want to know a half truth. Like, I know there's some people who probably do, but and it's probably a personality thing more than anything as well. But just, like, you want to know where you're at because it gives you time to prepare. Like, is it kinder to tell someone that they're dying now or in a month when they've got 3 days left? Like, like, at what point do you have to tell them, and at what point is it going to be more damaging? Like, it's going to be like devastating no matter when you say it, and I think it's how you say it more than and
to your point, normally what we do is like we say, look, how much do you want to know? How much do you want to know? And some patients say, I don't want to know. Spare me the details.
Yeah,
they'll be upfront and do that.
Yeah, and in that case, you're not lying to them in the sense that they're like, "How am I doing, doc?" Like, you'd never say, "You're going to be fine. You'll be out of here tomorrow." Like you'd never do that. So I think in your situation, you're not actually lying to someone. You're just saying, "Look, it's not looking great. like, you know, maybe, oh, we're still waiting on some tests that would be like, you know, you already know, but, you know, they're going to be like the conclusive, you know, nail in the coffin,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
gold standards.
like forgive the pun, but, you know, it's how you couch it. Like,
Even if it's a child.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Life is sticky, isn't it?
That's hard, man. That's hard. How do you handle that? You're the doctor, man.
To be honest, thankfully, I haven't been through a lot of situations like that. That's mostly adults.
Like, obviously, you've got to tell the parents.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in that situation, I probably wouldn't, like... Because you've told the parents, that's their job. Like, you know, if the kid, like, directly asks you, say, like, hey, look, talk to mummy and daddy about this if I had a chat to them. You know, like let them handle you know, like, if they haven't told their kid at all, you know, say they're, you know, 14, 15.
Okay, so what if you're the parent then?
As in, when do you want to know?
Well, what I'm what I'm meaning is, like, you're just pushing the problem onto someone else, right?
But it's not your role.
No, it's not your role as the doctor. But then what I'm meaning is, then what about the parent? Would it be okay for the parent to lie to the child at that point?
Like, just again, like, either just like bench a topic and say, hey, look, we'll talk about this tomorrow, you know, or like, you know, or just say, I don't know. Like, this is all hypothetical, and I'm a big softy at heart, so like I can't imagine having to do it. Like, I honestly can't.
Yeah.
But I don't think lying. Like,
you don't think it fixes anything?
I can't imagine your kid. Okay, I'm getting sad.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you there, man. And the more, to be perfectly honest, like,
Imagine lying to your kid being like the last thing you did.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, you're spot on, and I'm not implying that they should have. I was just trying to, like, find the answer to the end of the line of the questioning. But yeah. I'm 100% with you. I don't think you should. Is the short answer. But I really do believe that. I really do believe that in all of these situations that we've talked about, I think the ideal is always going to be the truth, and I guess. One thing that I have changed my mind on, I guess, through the process and through this conversation, one thing I have changed my mind on is that I don't necessarily think that God would choose us to lie. I guess it comes back to the original conversation. I think the optimum is truth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jesus says it, like, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Like, I mean, it's not like...
Truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
but I think that... I don't think that God would hold it against people who did life to save others or whatever, like, based on their motivations.
Yeah.
I don't know that God would hold that as a sin against them, even though what they did was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and like I said, like, if I had people that I was hiding, like, I don't think I could lie. I mean,
could tell the truth.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I could do that, but you know, it's so hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think ultimately we have to trust in God's goodness, and time again, like, some of the examples that we've been bringing up, we're really seeing, like, it's a revelation of how compassionate and how merciful God is. Like God, he's so understanding of our unique circumstances. Even something as, like, the last example we mentioned, like the Samuel wanting to corona. To me, that is like nothing compared to, like, heavier, like, hiding Jews under the table. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, God is like, you know, like, so compassionate to Samuel. Like he doesn't want Samuel like to have a hard time doing his job, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, you know, and tries to find a solution for that, you know. And to me, that's like more of, like, the same way, like, God allowed, you know, Israel to have a king. Like, you know, God's like, you know, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me ultimately. But he still allowed them to have a king.
Yes.
Not because he's for that, you know, but he allowed. But it's just a testament of God's character. How amazing he is.
Another example would be Abraham lying about Sarah's identity, right? Like, he thought that was something that was going to work well, that was going to be protective, but instead it actually put them in a worse position. And I mean, he's still the friend of God. He's still, like, Abraham still has that relationship with God, but at the same time, he's was still doing things that made it worse in the long run. And I love the example that you gave of Saul there, because I think in all of the examples, like in all of these really edge case scenarios that we've found, I think they all share that, right? They all share that quality of not being right, but God using our broken circumstances. So
Yeah.
I think that is probably where it needs to fall.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think ultimately we need to trust in God's goodness. Like we should always, our striving should always be ultimate honesty. Sometimes brutal honesty, but with compassion. But not also at the same time maintaining that tension that God is ultimately loving and forgiving when we fall short of his high ideals.